is just a heads up on what I've been doing with the Varmint, CZ Varmint MTR and the Martini So with the Martini Enfield, I tested a few loads, and same projectile, 150 grain spear hot cores. So that's pretty much all. Well, I can get Sierra 150 grains, and I did actually get a box, but they're like twice as much. No joke, and they look exactly the same. So yeah, I'm not really going to get Sierra if I don't have to. I will buy the spear hot cores because, like I said, they're like $60 a box, and they do really well. And as an example, that is a 3-shot group out of this gun at 50 metres with the iron sights, 1 inch or 1.07 or something like that, so an inch, right? So I'm really happy with that. Even though it's got an SMLE barrel, and you would think, well, it should be pretty accurate. One of the issues is that the headspace is quite loose, so, but to get an inch, and that's with a hot barrel. So, what I've noticed is that you got to get the barrel warm, because that first round always flies high. The barrel was hot with that group, so I didn't get a flyer, but typically the first round will be high. So I put sling swivel studs on it, so, and I've got a sling, leather sling, so I will be taking it out to hunt when I get the opportunity. Anyway, so really happy with that, and that's going to be a future hunting rifle. Now, let's get to the really important stuff, and that is, well, the CZ Varmint MTR. This is sloppy. This is one of my bipods. This is not the bipod that I have for it. It's in the car. This is one I had just handy now. And I don't really shoot it off a bipod. When I'm on the bench, I shoot it off a bag, which is really, really stable. Front and rear bag. Now, garbage on there. Now, so again, magazines work great. The bolt, yep, this is the bolt out of my 17 HMR because it's a lot, and it really is buttery. Now that I've put quite a few rounds through it, it is silky as, and of course I've got the aftermarket spring in there, and that trigger is just, oh, don't fire, dry fire, rib fire, yeah, whatever. That trigger is super light. It's, you know, it's not a handful of ounces, but you know what? At that weight, you can't go wrong. So it's working really, really well. If you want a really accurate, really reliable 22 for whatever style of target shooting, I definitely wouldn't be lugging this out in the field because it's heavy. It is heavy. But if you want a target rifle for any type of target shooting, definitely get one of these. As far as value for money is concerned, you can't go wrong, and they are really accurate. Unfortunately, the range that I shoot at, or have been shooting at, is just, and I'll talk about it. I know people are going to say, oh no, he's whinging about the wind again, but I'll explain something to you, because there was something that I didn't realise until someone actually pointed out. One of the other competition shooters pointed out to me, because I'm looking to shoot 22 long rifle, 22 silhouette, bolt action silhouette, and I was actually told by one of the guys, I won't say his name, because he's a great guy and he really helps me. He told me that there was a silhouette competition on yesterday, so I went, and guess what? It wasn't on. It's on in a couple of weeks, so I've got to go to work for 2 weeks, for almost 2 weeks, 11 days. Then I'm sweating as. Then when I come back, I'll go to that competition and have a go at it. So put that down. So same scope, fantastic scope. There was a few guys that over the couple of days that I tested it and shot it, there was a few guys who had a shoot of it or just handled it and they really loved it. They really like it. So yesterday, so I'll explain the wind situation, because in the last couple of times that I've shot 22, right, with high power centerfire, it's not such a big deal, but when you're shooting subsonic 22, wind is a big deal because it's seriously affected by the wind. And yesterday I was saying to one of the guys, I was saying, what is going on with this wind? It's just so switchy, it's all over the place. You know, I mean, I'm looking at the target and I've got a ribbon hanging off the target and it's blowing in one direction and I can feel the wind on blowing on my face in the other direction. So across 50 metres, you've got different wind blowing in different directions. And I said, what is going on? That was never like that before. It was always left to right, and it was either, you know, the gust, yeah, it was gusty, but it was a consistent direction. And he said, what's happened is, you see, the range, Townsville, they're trying to get, well, they've cleared out, because you've got 20, I think 20? No, more than 20, like 30, I think it's 30 benches at the moment. But on the other side of the road, of the dirt road that goes up to the long range targets, right, they've cleared out another, I don't know, 100 metres of bush to facilitate, I don't know, maybe another 20 benches or something like that. I'm not sure how many they're putting in. What's happened is, because they've cleared out so much more ground, the wind is coming in and it has room to swirl around. And so you're getting, I don't know if you call them vortices, but you've got wind swirling around, and you know, like from the bench to 25 metres to 50 metres, the wind's going to be blowing in different directions. It's really tricky, and I have no intention of testing 22 subsonic there anymore, because you're just wasting ammunition, like quite literally. But what I had been able, so what I was doing is that I'd shoot, and it got to the point where if I shot the first one and the second one wasn't like touching it or very close, I just ignored it. Not all the time, but that's pretty much what it got down to, because you're just wasting ammunition because the wind was just so bad. But now and then it would die down. So when it did die down, it confirmed my other target scores. So it died down there, it's 0.3. This is with SK Pistol Match Special. It seems to be the ammunition that it really likes. 0.3, 0.34. Alright, so, and then, where's SK Pistol Match Special from before? So this was, yep, there we go, 0.38, 0.37, 0.25. Alright, so it is quite capable of a 1/4 inch group. Look, I tried Lapua Center X, but man, it was just horrible. Yeah, I couldn't get the wind to play the game on that. RWS target rifle, again, it's good, but I just couldn't get the wind to play the game with that one. Ely match, I actually did. I got it to, I hit it when it died down twice, so 0.32, 0.28. So now, so if I shot 2 rounds and they were touching, I'd just be cycling. I'd just trying to go as quick as possible to be in that small window where the wind had died down. So those groups would probably be even smaller if the wind was stayed like that for a while and I took my time. Because as soon as I'd get that dot on there, bang, I'd just been cycling. So the groups would probably be even smaller. So there's absolutely no doubt that's a really accurate rifle. One thing that I've noticed is that when you get to about putting, this is the other day, because I didn't put that many rounds through it yesterday, but the other day, After about 150 rounds, it went hose. So that barrel has to get cleaned before 150 rounds. So what I think I'm going to do is, when I've shot 100 rounds, clean it. By cleaning, I don't mean scrubbing it. I mean a wet patch with brake cleaner, and then a dry patch, and just take the fouling out. Because after I'd shot about 100, I think it was about 150 rounds, it was a lot of rounds, it just spread. The groups just got huge, and I was wondering what the hell is going on. And then I thought, oh, hang on a minute, because Josh from Pursuit of Accuracy, he's noted that that's what happens as well with his. I'm not sure what the round count is with him, but so I'm looking at about 100 rounds and clean it. Otherwise, when you hit about 150, something like that, it just spreads, which is what I call going hose. So after about 100 rounds, yeah. Now, what else was I going to say? I've got to go to work for like tomorrow for about 11 days. Then I'll be back. Then a couple of days later, that silhouette match will be on, and I'll go there. Hopefully I'll do a bit of filming if no one's touchy about me filming, and because I really want to see what's going on, and I'd like to compete. I shoot to have fun. I'm not anal, and I'm not, yeah, I like to be competitive, but what I've been told is that the silhouette guys are a little bit more relaxed than the bench rest people. He told me, I don't know, I'm just going, this is anecdotal, that the bench rest people are really, really anal, and they're really cliquey, and I'm just not interested in that. And they hold their cards close to their chest, and they, if a newbie turns up, they really sort of shun them. I don't know, that's what I've been told. It might be bullshit, they might just be shunning him, I don't know, but I doubt it. But I've been told that the silhouette guys are a lot more relaxed, and it's a bit more fun. They don't take themselves too seriously, which is good, because I don't take myself seriously. So hopefully in a couple of weeks, I'll be taking this to a silhouette match and competing, and I probably won't do any good, because it is offhand shooting, so you're standing and just shooting offhand. I tried the Olympic sort of biathlon stance, where you got your elbow on your belly, and I was actually more accurate just holding it like that. So, I don't know, maybe practice. I'd say probably need more practice. But I love this scope. I've always spoken highly of it, the Delta Titanium, 4.5 to 30. I'd really like to get its big brother, the 5 to 50. Delta make great scopes. The Japanese made, Japanese glass. Yeah, you can't go wrong. And people who've shot this rifle said they love the rifle, and they like the reticle on the scope. The reticle is not fussy. It gives you enough information, all the information that you need, without all the rigmarole. It's not an encyclopedia like a Horus reticle or anything like that. It's got a center dot, which I really, really like. You can just center that dot on where you want to shoot, and away you go. So again, this bolt has just smoothed up so much. Like the rails, the bolt was always pretty smooth, but the rails obviously inside have really smoothed up. Yeah, it's really, really good. The trigger's really, really good. And I said that I wanted to get the Timney trigger. I don't know if I'm going to bother, because this trigger, no joke, is just, it's not a hair trigger, but it's very, very light, and it just breaks. So again, this stock, there were guys that said one guy said, yeah, it's ugly, and then the other guy said, no, I really like that stock, so it seems to be a real polarizing thing. You either really like the stock or you really hate it. Since it's my rifle, I've grown to accept it. I don't really love it, but it is very stable. It's very ergonomic. If you are thinking, again, I've said this before, if you are thinking about getting a target rifle, yeah, all right. If money is no option, no impediment, then go and buy yourself an Anschutz. Go and buy yourself a Weihrauch, a Walther, whatever. Really, really expensive, or get yourself a custom 22 made, or Zermatt Rimex, or a Voodoo, or whatever. If you got thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to spend, but if you're like me and you like value for money and you don't have thousands, or I could do it, right? I could spend thousands of dollars, but what's the point? I'm never going to be competing in the Olympics. I'm never going to be, who knows? I'm never going to be competing in the ultimate level of target competition. I'm going to be doing it to have fun, and maybe if I prove to be really competitive down the track, maybe somewhere, but I don't think there's any need, because if you've got a rifle that is capable of shooting 1/4 of an inch, right, that's F-class. Like, really, that's F-class numbers. Now, I was watching a video and he was talking, it was actually Eric Cortina, who was doing an interview with a guy called Jim Murphy, who's I think 6 times national F-class or long range, or F-class, I think F-class champion in the States. And he shoots something that's called rimfire F-class, which I'd never heard of. And they shoot at 50 metres and 100 yards. Now, I don't know if that competition exists in Australia. I think it'd be really good if it did. So I've got to do some research. Obviously speak to SSAA and ask them, is this happening anywhere? Because I've not heard of anyone doing it at my range, at the range that I shoot at. I've not heard, like I said, I'd never heard of it before. I didn't know it existed. So that would be really interesting. I'd really like to do that. And this rifle is certainly capable of doing that. I certainly wouldn't want to compete there at Townsville with this, shooting F-class, because it'd be a disaster with the way that wind goes now, around in circles. But anyway, if you are thinking of getting a target rifle and you don't have bottomless pockets, get one of these. Super reliable. You may not get one with the smoothest bolt, but I have shown how to smooth it up. This bolt is really smooth, and that's the bolt that I'm going to use. Get yourself a spring. I think that spring cost me like, I don't know, $15, $10, $15 or something like that, right? High Velocity Hunting Australia, I think they're called, HVHA, yeah, is where I got the spring from. I think it's a Yodo spring, I don't know. You can also get them from Brownells and whatever, but so High Velocity Hunting Australia is where I I've bought 2 springs off them now, and they do the job. The rail is the Area 419, yeah, Area 419 20 MOA rail. You don't need that. You could just, with rimfire rings, you could just mount it to the dovetail. I've never had a problem mounting scopes to a dovetail on a rimfire. I mean, it's not like you got serious recoil that's trying to pull it, but I did get it. It's not, super cheap, but it's okay. That's not a pick rail, that's a, what's it called, a weaver rail that I had lying around, that I put on the bottom there. If I'm going to shoot it with, I haven't shot it yet with the bipod, but I will. But I'm not going to do it at Townsville. I'm going to go to the other range that I shoot at, which is actually called the Murdering Point Rifle Club. That's no bull. That's what it's called. Anyway, so I prattled on enough. Rifle's excellent. It's a 1/4 inch rifle with SK pistol match special and Ely match. You can do it with Ely match as well. I was gonna test. Well, I did a little bit of test firing with Ely Sport, but because of the wind conditions, I just couldn't determine anything. So I'll have to do that at the other range. And I also got 4 different Aguila 20 boxes of 22. That my gun store said, "Oh, have you tried this?" And I said, "No, give us a box of each, and I'll have a go at it." So I'll test that as well. So when I come back, I'll do that silhouette shoot, and then, which is on a Saturday, and then probably on a Sunday I'll go to the other range and do some more testing. But so I've got it zeroed in for the SK pistol match special, so she's ready to go. So anyway, too much talking. I'll see you in a couple of weeks, and hope you're all well and nobody's got COVID, and see you later.